It's a brand new day. I'm so glad you're here. The sun is rising in the horizon. It's back to the day we talk about the Earth Catastrophe countdown. And before we do that and dive into the great big question, should you give up or will you? We're going to take a deep breath and we're going to see you on the other side.
Yeah, and I feel the pain. Broken hearts, they all feel the same. And I don't wanna be all alone. Just pull me apart, take me away. Tell me it's all gonna be okay.
So the question for today is, will you just give up or will you engage? And I offer that as an idea because I see that reflected in the comments quite a bit. Why bother? Who cares? Why would you even talk about this? What difference does it make if there's nothing we can do about it? And you're absolutely right. If this is true, there's nothing we can do about it. And that's true for almost everything that we're facing. I watched part of a documentary yesterday on 5G and how bad it is. And you're watching that and it's bad, it will kill you, it's bad, it will kill you. It's just this repeating mantra of, bad news and things we can't control, and it just makes you feel awful, right? Because what are you supposed to do when you can't do anything? And it's this important. It's life as we know it. It's our life, it's our children's life, it's our legacy, it's the world, it's humanity, it's civilization, it's nature, it's everything. And you're totally right. It's easy to just want to say, whatever, I give up. But that takes me to the sun is rising. And it really just doesn't matter what's happening out in the world, because every day the sun is rising, you still have to engage with life. And we seem to be under this idea that somehow life owes us some kind of guarantee or some level of comfort, or it's supposed to be easy, and if the right solution came around then everything would be okay, and somebody out there should take care of it, and why doesn't he or she or they do something? And we're under this really interesting idea that somehow life owes us something, or God owes us something, or our country owes us something, or our family, or our spouse, or our children. Nobody owes us anything. And the reason I talk about this is my personal point of view, but the reason I talk about it is what's happening in the world today is the context that we are here to experience, to decide what we want to do in this kind of moment in time. And if you're interested in the spiritual stuff, you'll know that this is like once in millions of years kind of opportunity. This is a incredibly rare moment across the spans of time in which to really figure out who you want to be, figure out what kind of work you want to do at a personal level. Do you want to grow, or do you want to just give up? Do you want to rise to the occasion, or do you just want to, lay down and quit? And most people are going to do two things. They're either going to give up, or they're going to zone out, or three things, or they're trying to fight against what is. And I am really offering kind of a fourth road, and it's not acceptance in the sense of I'm going to just accept my fate. It's moving back to the way we were designed to live, and that there's just no guarantees, right? There's a plane flying in the sky right now, leaving a chemtrail, and it could fall on my head, and so the sun rose for everybody else, but it didn't rise for me. And would that have changed anything that I would have done in the last however many decades of my life? And so it isn't about if the world is going to end. It's about talking about it because it's the context. It's the set of circumstances that is happening now. It just doesn't matter which version of catastrophe or which bad thing. From artificial intelligence to the 5G to food shortages to the ice age to the grand solar minimum, creating devastation and loss, to migration, to civil war. The list of bad things, just basic health, the list of bad things happening is overwhelming. And the question becomes then, will you just give up Or will you rise up? Will you get ready? Will you do the work to engage within the context of now that is your life? Because there's two things that we know. One is there is no guarantee in terms of how the world will end or when it will end, and you're going to die. Everybody has a personal terminal diagnosis. The only thing we have control over or input in is how we want to live. And it's my personal belief, this exact context of the end of the world as we know it, whatever version that is, it's a game changer in terms of how we live and what we need to do to be in this situation and actively engaged. And so it is frustrating, it is hard, it is disappointing, and it is very discouraging because the only way people want to engage most often is either to complain and give up, or to pretend it's not happening, to make fun of it, or to rage against an idea that they can't control. But you know what? There's a tiny little few of us that actually want to acknowledge this is probably happening. Something is happening. And I don't want to give up, and I don't want to zone out, and I don't want to fight. I want to be as powerful and as strong and as useful as I can in the process of this experience. And so what I'm doing is trying to create structure and a system and accountability for those people who want to do the work, because ideas without structure get no action. We can talk about, as I watched that 5G, I'm like, well, you can talk about this over and over and over again, but without an active structure to create an action plan, we're just basically saying, yeah, well, we're going to fry, our DNA is going to be damaged, we're all going to die, life is over as we know it. And the structure and the action isn't about making the bad things stop so that we can just zone out and go back to a life of comfort and entitlement. This is our world. This is our life. This is our moment in time to engage within the context of everything as we know it is about to change. All we get to decide is who we want to be in the process. And I want to be engaged. I want to be as ready as I can. And I want to be useful. I think helpful is the wrong word, but I want to be useful. And so the only question I can toss back to you is, what do you want to do? And if you want to be helpful, useful, strong, ready, engaged, then you're in the right place. And there's lots of content here on the website and over here at YouTube and on the website to facilitate the process of being engaged. I have like zero interest in being right or telling you what to do. But there's a couple things I just know to be true. And one is, every day that the sun rises, I need to work on being human. I need to figure out how to eat. I want to have shelter. I want to be connected to life itself as long as I am in this life. These are just basic foundational and fundamental principles. They don't change regardless of what's going on out there. And I choose to engage. It's my point of view. I don't want to argue about it. I just want to share it, and I want to create the structure for those of you who want to engage in it. And with that, there's a lot to do. So we're going to take a deep breath, and we're going to see you next time. Oh, and links below.
Tell me it's all gonna be okay. I wanna feel like I'm still alive.